Hi, this is my video for my bus ride on the number 7 bus in Vancouver on May 10th at about 10 a.m. And it's a nice sunny day. And we just headed south on Granville. And we're going by all the stores on the east side. So you're looking towards the east side of Granville Street as we head south. So the bus stops, and I'm going to continue filming all the way up Granville Street. And yeah, it's a nice sunny day. Not very many people are outside. It's a Sunday, so there's not that many people out. And then there's always the corovid virus or whatever. So you can see that some of the stores are shut downtown because of the epidemic or pandemic. This is Georgia Street. We're right beside Georgia Street now, and there's a big SkyTrain station. If you were to look on the other side of the street, you'll just be coming up to the big SkyTrain station, where you can catch a SkyTrain to Surrey or New West or to the airport. So yeah, we just passed Georgia Street, and there used to be a movie theater there, not anymore. I've been in Vancouver since 1998, so I've seen a lot of changes in Granville Street already. So as you can see some boarded up stores right there. I'm shooting this on my Moto Z Force, first generation Moto Z Force. I did have the Moto Z Force 2, but it crapped out on me, so I'm back to the Moto Z Force. It's got a pretty nice camera on it, and it runs pretty fast for being an older phone. So yeah, all this video is shot on the Moto Z Force. And I have a backup battery, so I can have endless amounts of shooting. It also has room for a micro SD card, so I can shoot for hours and hours if I wanted to. So here we are, we're going up Granville, heading south on Granville. Granville turns into kind of a club strip at night. There's lots of bars and a few restaurants and a lot of fast food places and some clubs where you have live music. There's a club there that's been there forever, I think. A lot of famous bands have played at that right there, I think. So yeah, Granville's changed over the years. It used to have a lot of bigger trees. They took down a lot of the bigger trees. So yeah, I think that was the Commodore right there, which I've never been to, but it's pretty famous. There's the Vogue Theater. Again, I've never been there, pretty famous. There's boarded up bar. Lots of fast food places on Granville, 7-Eleven. I think we're getting close to Davie Street soon. This might be Davie, or it's coming up. I don't think we're quite at Davie, but it's close. And I think that's a Holiday Inn across the street there. So again, we're heading south on Granville Street. And Granville Street's kind of the main drag downtown. And so yeah, we're keeping going on Granville. Heading south. There's the A&W. pretty dead on Granville compared to what it usually is on a weekend. So here we are, we're heading towards the Granville Bridge that goes across the Burrard Inlet. So yeah, we're heading towards the bridge. Heading south on Granville towards the bridge. I think this is, you can see it's Helmicon Street. So I think we're past Davie now. I think Helmicon's past Davie. So here we go south. Still on Granville. Domino's. Bars, more bars, hotels, bars. I think that's a ballet school or theater school. Oh no, I think this is Davie right here maybe. Oh yeah, this is Davie Street. So yeah, Helmicon comes before Davie. And the buses stop for the light. And you can see the bar across the street there. It's a nice sunny day. It's about 20 degrees Celsius. 10 o'clock in the morning. And so the world is in lockdown. But as you can see, there's still some stuff open on Granville Street in Vancouver. So yeah, we're heading towards the bridge. Slowly making our way towards the bridge, Granville Street Bridge. So yeah, if you've never been to Vancouver, this is kind of the main street in Vancouver, downtown. If you're probably a 20-something person, if you visit Granville, you probably go down there and have a beer or something like that, or hang out with your friends. Vancouver is really nice in the summer, and in the winter, it's not so much. It's a lot of rain. So yeah, be prepared. If you come to Vancouver in the winter, you're not going to get the full taste of Vancouver, like if you come here in the winter. So yeah, here's the scenery starting to change. All of these buildings on our left, they weren't there when I came here in 1998. All these buildings that you see in the distance, they were not there, and that was just a big open area. And it really changed the look of Vancouver when those buildings were put there. Like, Vancouver had this it sort of felt wide open, and then they built all these buildings. You can see them just right beside each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, like literally 20 of them right there. And that was all empty. And it really, really changed the look of Vancouver. I remember that distinctly. There were kind of rail yards there. And this building right here, this sort of triangular thing, that's brand new. It's still being built. And I did some construction work on part of that site because I work in construction on the other side of the bridge. So as we're going over Granville Bridge, and the Burrard Inlet is underneath. So unfortunately, you can't look down and see the water. I apologize. But anyways, you can take my word for it that the bridge is over water. It's over Burrard Inlet. So yeah, the bus is going over Burrard Inlet, and then the bus is going to hit right, and it's going to exit off Granville, and then it'll take it's the number 7 bus, and it heads west off of Granville, and it goes down 4th Avenue. So we'll follow it, and I'll talk about that. So in the distance, you can see sort of, it's kind of Broadway is in the distance there. That skyline there is Broadway. Those are buildings on Broadway, which is another main street that's on the other side of the Burrard or the Granville Bridge, and it runs east-west. Broadway runs east-west in Vancouver. And so Broadway kind of runs all the way to Burnaby, and then all the way to almost to UBC. So UBC being kind of the westernmost point of before you hit the ocean. So yeah, we're just still on Granville. We're on the other side of the bridge now. There's a little park there. Underneath Granville Bridge is Granville Island, which is kind of markets, shops and markets, touristy. There's some condos there, quite new. Lots of new buildings. That is looking up Granville Street, but the bus is taking a detour to 4th. Now we're on our way to 4th Avenue. Here's a whole bunch of condos here that were probably built in the late 90s, right here. Probably finished in the 2000. There's a SkyTrain above us. We're going under the SkyTrain. That SkyTrain goes to the airport. Now the bus is making its way to 4th Avenue. So, here we go. The bus is turning again. It's going to make a right, and then it's going to make a left on 4th Avenue. There's Tesla. There's a Tesla store right there. There's 2 Tesla stores in Vancouver that I know of. That's one of them. So here's 4th Avenue, and the bus is going to hang a left. So as you can see, it looks like pretty much, this is like the fancy part of town. All the houses in here are $1 million+ dollars. So, and this is like a couple blocks from the beach. So 4th Avenue is, kind of the rich, expensive, sort of trendy, hipster, affluent part of Vancouver. So we're on 4th Avenue now, and we're heading west. So you can see all this is like sort of the posh part of town. Like I said, everything here, all the houses here are, probably like, if they're like towards the beach, they're, probably upwards of $5 million, probably. But yeah, this is kind of the fancy part of Vancouver. 4th Avenue, close to the ocean. And it's a nice part of Vancouver if you can afford it. And it's a cool place for, rich people or young people to hang out, university students, stuff like that. So, and it's pretty trendy too. If you pay attention, a lot of the stores are open. There's not as many stores closed on 4th Avenue as other parts of Vancouver. So it looks like it's trying to stay open longer. But I guess like these people have to stay open, I guess, because it's so expensive that, they have to try to earn money. So yeah, the bus is just speeding along here. We're heading up 4th Avenue. There's a lot of bars, restaurants, trendy spots, clothing stores, sporting goods stores. There's a few fancy coffee shops, specialty food shops, and then there's the whole health craze. So there's all like fitness places and everything for your healthy, fit Vancouverite is on 4th Avenue. So yeah, and all of these houses are like, all the houses in this kind of neighborhood are, probably $4 million plus to buy anything. So yeah, here we are. I think we're stopped at a light and we're speeding west along 4th Avenue. So it's a sunny day, May 10th, around 10 a.m. And we're in like the middle of corovid, which is what I call it, the pandemic, corovid pandemic. And so yeah, we're on 4th Avenue in Vancouver, taking the bus, number 7 bus, which goes to a street called Alma Street, and then it heads south after Alma. So yeah, we're heading along 4th Avenue in Vancouver. It's kind of a rich, yuppie, affluent. I don't know what they call yuppies now. So yuppies is a term for young urban professionals. I wonder if they still use that word, yuppie. So, but I'm old, I'm 51, so that's what we used to call all the rich young professionals, yuppies. So yeah, this is a fancy part of Vancouver. There's still a lot of apartment buildings, so you can get yourself like a super expensive apartment in this part of Vancouver if you want to throw your money away, because that's basically what you're doing. And as you can see, I think there's this one corner coming up where you can see the kind of social distancing that's happening in Vancouver on the west side of Vancouver, and there's not really that much social distancing. So it just seems like in this rich part of town, nobody seems to really care about social distancing that much. And a lot of stuff is still open. So it looks like, it's kind of a different world over here on the west side of Vancouver. 4th Avenue, speeding along 4th Avenue, trendy town. Super rich, super expensive. $1 million condos, multi-million dollar homes. This is McDonald Street, which is kind of a main artery, I guess, that runs north-south. And crossing McDonald Street, and yeah, this is a really trendy part. The beach is like blocks away from here. About 4 blocks away is the beach, 4th Avenue. Trendy part of Vancouver. If you got money to blow, money to burn, and you want to look hip and happening, you probably hang out, and you're a good-looking person and athletic and sort of trendy. This is probably where you want to be. 4th Avenue, the hip part of Vancouver. So the bus is just speeding along here. This is a bus that's on an electric bus. So it's on a overhead line that powers the bus. And so it's pretty nice and quiet. It's a lot more quiet than a diesel bus, for sure. So now we're about to pass a park, and I don't know if you can see the park, but there's a lot of people hanging out in the park, and nobody's wearing masks, and nobody's social distancing. So they're just enjoying their Sunday, and just having a regular Sunday, getting fresh air in one of the nicest days so far this year. It's around 20 degrees Celsius, and we're going right by the park here, and you can see a lot of people are hanging out and enjoying the weather. And yeah, so that was a park, and there's tennis courts there too. And We're speeding along, heading west. And as you head west, the houses are even more expensive. So, here we go, keeping going. And this is really a beautiful part of Vancouver. It's almost sad that everything's so expensive now, because it was one of the coolest part of Vancouver, you know, when prices weren't out of this world. It still is the most beautiful part of Vancouver, but I think there's sort of an unreality set in. I mean, living in that part of Vancouver is just so expensive that it just sort of like, you know, it doesn't feel like a reality anymore. It feels kind of like a fantasy land to me. That's my own opinion of Vancouver, is that I think that there's a certain amount of people that are just living in a fantasy land in Vancouver, with rent and houses being so absurdly expensive that it just doesn't really make sense for 90% of the world, or 90% of people that live there. You know, even if you have like a professional income, you know, you're going to end up giving so much money to the banks. It's crazy. It's just not worth it. So yeah, we're about to turn left and head south on Alma Street. So here's the bus turning left, and it's gonna go a couple blocks up Alma. There's a classic Rolls Royce, and then I'm gonna get off the bus and I'm gonna switch buses to go to UBC. So yeah, this is just about where I turn the camera off. Probably one or two more bus stops, and then you're gonna see that Alma crosses. It heads up towards Broadway, and that's where I get off. So it's just probably the next stop, and I think I'm gonna turn the camera off like right about now. So thanks for watching this, and I hope everybody stays safe. Thanks for watching.